Well, shalom, shalom, if it isn't that time of day again, the Galilean hour. Yes, we are serving the Lord God of Israel on the Galilean hour. Time to adjust our hearts, adjust our lives into what God's saying, to what God has got going for such a time as this. I'm excited to see what we're going to be talking about today. Super cool. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay. It looks like you can all see and hear me just fine. That little test. Can all hear fine? No echo. That's good to hear. Praise the Lord. Looks like everything's working good. Well, I wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about something so special to my heart. First of all, write the country that you're from, and definitely write the prayer requests that you have, because this is the prayer hotline, Good News from the Galilee, and we want to be praying for you. We want to be asking God to move on behalf of the remnant right now in this great time of global uncertainty. People are saying, hey, can we even fly to Israel? Can we fly to America? How can our churches open? This, that. People got questions, and I say, do you have faith? You got questions, but do you have faith? And I think that's what we need to have a lot more of right now in these times is faith. And faith in God's plan for our lives. So one of the reasons why we do this every day, this good news from the Galilee, is we need good news. We don't need to hear a bunch more bad news. We need to hear what is God's good news for us for the hour. What is he saying? What's the Issachar? What's the Issachar anointing here? The Issachar anointing is to know what Israel should do, to know what we should do, and to do it. Yeah? That's to understand the times and seasons, to know what we're a part of, and to know what to do. So that's exactly what the Issachar anointing is all about. But I want to talk to you about something really, really special. In order, first of all, welcome. Make sure you put your prayer requests in. We're not here just to talk. We're here to pray for you. And we want to have prayer going both ways. This is a vertical Galilee house of prayer. This is a place of worship. This is a place of seeking God. This is a place of really ministering to the Lord. And we want to just do that every single day to align our hearts with his will for our lives, you know. There's enough worry going around, you know, and that's what was yesterday was talking about. The day before was talking about worry. Yesterday we talked about wisdom. And today we're going to be talking about wedding. We're going to be talking about wedding. And I'm really excited to tell you about that. So in weddings, you have a lot of joy. Am I right? A lot of joy. So good to see you all. Good to see you. How's it going, Jackie Flood? I want to welcome you guys. Good to see you, Jackie. Good to see you, of course, Debbie Ingle, Sandy Beaches. I can't wait till you guys get here, and the whole team there. God bless you guys. You guys are doing amazing things, Sandy and your team. Stacia, good to see you. Jerry Evans, Ephraim. Hey, Ephraim, I love you like a brother. Just kidding. That is my brother. Ephraim's my brother. Cindy Kartsonis, Chana Menarchuk. Hey, congratulations, Chana. Your prayers were answered. Safe travels. We took them to the airport. Your family has arrived to the United States. Very exciting. Now, I want to talk to you, though, about something very, 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 very beautiful. Very, very fun. In fact, I would venture to say the most beautiful and the most fun thing in the whole world. The most beautiful. And what do you think that is? What do you think it is? The most beautiful and the most fun thing in the world. What is that, guys? Come on. Let's see if you're awake. Good morning. Hey, come on. Praise the Lord. What is the most beautiful, the most fun thing in this dimension called Earth? Huh? I'll tell you. Hey, Mark. Good to see you, Mark Imboden. How are you doing today? Hi, I'm the Galilean. I'm going to give you a little bit of the sounds of a Israeli wedding. The sounds. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, tomorrow is my anniversary month. Yeah, so the 21st of July is when I was married near Jerusalem. And God talks about weddings in the Bible. And he talks about the Hebrew traditional wedding too, and how that all is part of the plan of the ages. Each time we're doing this, we're unpacking another part of the plan of the ages since before the foundation of the world for God's will for this world. Is God's will for this world that everyone starts coughing and the world shuts down and that's it? No. Is it God's plan for the world that we all get hit by an asteroid? No. Is God's plan for the world that, well, I'll tell you, every time we're unpacking part of what we're supposed to be learning, how we're supposed to be growing in this paradigm, in this playground, in this existence, this training ground, proving ground, this faith proving ground called Earth. Okay? And what we're supposed to be learning is part of what our eternal soul will be, the construct of our eternal soul. That's what we're learning while we're here. How to exercise faith. How to be as little children. Remember the live we talked about? Come as little children to me. We talked about part of it's helping Jewish people to return to Israel. Oh, part of it is learning to love one another. Not just the holy hermit. Me and God. It's just me and God, and I'm a holy hermit. It's me and God. I'm the only one that's got it. Nobody else has any value to me because they're just a bunch of pagans. Wrong again. We need to learn about community. But what I want to talk to you today is the funnest thing in this whole world is called the wedding. And the wedding in the Bible. So this is the sounds you hear in an Israeli wedding, like this. And then they come out with the huge tambourine, like Miriam would have had when they crossed over in the Aliyah miracle of the Red Sea parting. And Miriam, in English that might be called Mary. No, it's still called Miriam. They just changed it to Mary with the mother of Yeshua. But Miriam, that name, who is, it was even the mother of Yeshua, was called Miriam, you know, traditionally. And so she's there with this tambourine. It's like, that's the sound of the bride. As the bride comes forth, there's a special beat that's done here in the Middle East and a special timbrel that's used to usher in the bride as she comes. She could arrive on a camel. She could arrive with fanfare and horses, and you never know. Okay, but now the wedding is a real beautiful thing, which is done here in the Middle East, but it's actually done around the world. But the way it's done here, we'll turn our Bibles, we're going to look at the wedding. Now, I want to tell you this. At the end of the age, there's going to be a wedding. Do you know this? There's going to be a very amazing wedding in heaven where the bridegroom, so that means, it means the husband, it means he's probably well-groomed, is going to, ruddy and handsome, So the bridegroom is going to be serving his wedding guests, and he's going to be serving us a wedding feast. Now, we're in what's called the betrothal time, the engagement time. That's what we're in right now. We're in the engagement period of this wedding. Did you know that? Did you know that? Yeah. Let me just tell you a little bit about how it goes here in Israel. Tell me if you know this already. What happens is, there's a cup, there's a cup like this one. Well, then, there's a cup, okay? This cup, the cup is brought to, first of all, the son approaches. First of all, the guy is probably in the vineyards, or let's say he's like Boaz and he's leaving parts of the vineyard for those to come and glean that are less fortunate. And that's what the Bible says. And so you remember with Boaz and with Ruth, of course, then he saw her gleaning, and he said, "Who's that lady gleaning in the fields?" And what happens is, however they meet, let's say they meet in our, we have this thing called Tu B'Av, which is essentially it's Valentine's Day, but we don't have a Valentine's Day. We have a thing called Tu B'Av, which remembers when the tribe of Benjamin was almost destroyed. You remember that? And then, of course, they said, no, instead of destroying Benjamin, let's have them come back here. And the rest of the 11 tribes, so we need to have 12. And let's meet in Shiloh, and let's have them go and dance in the field. And if anyone wants to marry a wife, let him go to the fields, and they'll be dancing, wearing their white dresses, and he'll meet his bride. And then, of course, the thing is, he'll go to the father. The young man will go to the father of the bride and say, he'll pour a cup. And he'll say, okay, I'm putting this before you. He doesn't say anything. He puts the cup before him. That means I'm about to make a covenant. I want your blessing on a covenant. I'm about to make a deal here. I'm about to make a very, very strong covenant. So he puts the cup before the father. Suddenly, hey Sue Brennan, good to see you. Good to see you, of course. How's it going? Yeah, it's probably not a mug, but Orvaki, good to see you. And Walter Slaughter. Haha, long time no see, bro. Peggy Hurst, good to see you. Ilatia Tubi, wow, Tubois, sorry. Judith, how's it going? It's good to see you, Don Husnick. It's good to see everyone here. The remnant is rallying for righteousness right now. The son to be will say, hey, father of the bride to be. He puts the cup before the father of the bride, and he just puts it there. And now the father looks at it. He knows what's going on. He's asking for his permission. So he'll either leave it there, like that. Boom. Or he'll take the cup. The father of the bride will take the cup, nod his agreement, and drink in agreement to the covenant. Okay? Then what happens is the son says, okay, I got you. You've agreed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go now and prepare a place. I'm going to prepare a place where we're going to live. Sometimes it could be like in Capernaum. You see some of the old ruins. You'll have these old ruins, and they'll actually, the tanner's house, because they were tanning animal hides. The sandler's house, the Rosenbaum, which is a rose tree. They're tending the rose bushes. Whatever the last name, Schumacher. They're shoemakers, So sometimes they'll adjoin onto the house. He'll build on an extension, and they didn't need permits back then. Build on an extension, and then he said, yeah, I'm willing to join also to the family business. That can happen. So what they'll do is they will then, of course, go and build wherever it is. I go to prepare a place for you. That's what he says. And off he goes, and he's building, he's working. And then the bride is getting ready. She goes to the beauty salon, and she goes to the beauty spa. And she's getting ready, getting her nails did, getting her hair did, and all that stuff. And French nails, I don't know what she might want to do. And one thing leads to another. She might want to go to Josie's place and get her hair done. And so now Josie Esperanza came. So what it is that once she's like, when is he going to arrive here? When is he going to arrive? Sometimes it could be the middle of the night. He hits the last nail. This house is done. We're ready to move in here. Okay. Then he'll come with the wedding party. He'll bring all his friends, all of the groomsmen. They'll get on their horses. The horses will probably be all groomed. They're groomsmen. That's what they're doing. They're grooming things. Horses. And so they'll come with torches, and they'll come and they'll ride to where the bride and the bridesmaids are getting ready. And then the sound will go forth like a shofar sound. It could be in the middle of the night. And those that are ready with their oil and their lamps will then be invited to this wedding, huge wedding feast. So obviously the family is getting ready now. They're getting ready, and weddings here, let me tell you what, they don't last for they can last for weeks, especially Arabic weddings. They still maintain some of the Abrahamic stuff that we used to do. And a lot of Jewish people will clump it all, even the engagement, even the stepping on the cup, all that into one moment, instead of having the engagement part and then the like the betrothal part, that is, and then the wedding. It's like all happens at once under the banner. But then, long story short, they'll go and there'll be a big banner, his banner over us is love, and you got people holding it from four sides. Okay, then that cup will be brought out. Yeah, the cup that they drank from. Because I forgot to say, before the father and the son-in-law agree, but then they both go before the bride. I forgot this most important part. Sorry. They go before the bride to be, and they put it before her. Same thing. Now she could look at it, and or she could go and say, this is before the pressure later with all the house being built. I'm saying right at the beginning, right? And then she could say, I agree to this wedding. So what's so cool is that once she's agreed, the house is then built. I go to prepare a place for you, and then they come and they bring her to a wedding feast, which is really, really awesome. So they'll have all the spread there, and then four people will be holding this wedding banner, right? And then they'll go underneath it. Then they'll bring out the cup that the father, the son, and the bride also drank from. They'll wrap it up. They'll put it on the floor, and they'll pronounce their love one to another. I commit to covenant with you, to be your husband, you to be my bride. And they will speak the words of covenant one to another. They will write it down. That's what Jewish people always do. They have an observation, then they have it written down, and then they go and discuss what was written. That's what science is. That's how science began. That's how chemistry, that's how anything that's in science began, is I observe something, I write it down, and then I discuss what is written down. That's Jewish people have been doing this since the beginning, and that's what makes us good at those different things. You observe, you write down, and you then go in and discuss that. And then observe again, write it down again, and discuss. That's science. So the same thing with the wedding. They make the covenant, they write it down, and then they have this party where they discuss and they enjoy and they dance, and it's just beautiful. And there's drumming, like you heard earlier. Isn't that great? That's the Middle Eastern beat. So now what am I talking about is in this Bible here, we are part of that same story. I don't know if you know that. Even, I'll go so far as to say, 8 years ago, this July 24, like next month, July 21, marks 8 years. Yeah, new beginning. It's 8 means new in the Gematria code. And so that's the exact same thing that happened with my wife. Exact same thing. I went to her dad and I said, hey, I put the cup before him. He drank of it. Then we went both to her and then put the cup before her. She could see we already had talked. She took the cup, agreed, and then you have this time of preparing for the wedding, preparing the way. I go to prepare a place for you, finding out where we're going to live, where we're going to rent, what we're going to do, how the wedding's going to be, what kind of flowers, this and that. Little tastings, a few tastings. You can go to some tastings. It's good, preparing everything. And then with my own wife and with me, what happens is, when the time was right, we went, took that same cup, we went under the banner, his banner over us is love. That means the chuppah. She's Jewish, the chuppah. And that cup, do you think Yeshua has a cup? Do you think there's a cup of covenant with us? Is there a cup that we have every week, every day, every month, as often as you do this in remembrance of me? Is there a cup that Yeshua has, the bridegroom has when he meets with his bride? Is there a cup? It's very traditional, very Hebraic, Jewish tradition, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's called the cup of communion, okay? And so we took that cup and wrapped it up, and pronounced our love one for another, and I step on the cup. Now you might say, why are you stepping on a cup? And why are you doing that, and what's the deal? And I say, the reason why is that none other will drink of this cup. It's sealed, it is done. But also, right there in the highest point of joy, there's this thing that we all say. You might know this, which says, if I forget you, O Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its skill, may the tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, if I don't put you, Jerusalem, above my chief joy. So right there, the chief joy, the highest joy, marriage, we're all saying, oh, Jerusalem that was destroyed, besieged and destroyed, and our temple that was destroyed. And why remember it right then? And why don't we save that for a different time? But it's something that is so, if I forget you, O Jerusalem. So in the highest point of joy, that's the time to remember Jerusalem and God's plan of the ages that we were talking about at the beginning of this. The plan of the ages has to do with the bridegroom returning to the bride, Jerusalem. That's part of this Bible. That's part of who we are. That's part of what we all are, is the ushers in of the bridegroom returning to the bride and returning to the bride from around the world coming to meet her. It's something that we're all part of. And it has to do with also returning to this land, returning to our capital right over there. And it's really a beautiful, beautiful love story. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about that. And now for us, the wedding was right outside near Jerusalem. Actually, it was in Judea and Samaria. Some call it the West Bank. Disputed territories, the place where, of course, the UN says there shouldn't be any Jews in Judea. They said, we shouldn't have any Jews in Judea. But then I'm like, oh, but Judea, that's where Yeshua was born. That's where King David, lived. That's where 83% of our Bible happened in Judea and Samaria. 83%. And so, but it's just funny, that's where we were married. I know it was a little disputed, I'm saying, so there was that added element to be on a mountaintop in Judea. And, the Jew shouldn't be in Judea. I'm like, it's in the very word, Judah. It's, anyway. So we got married right there. It was in this hilltop, very beautiful sunset, and, dancing. Oh, the dancing was crazy. Now, my anniversary isn't tomorrow. My anniversary is on the 21st of July. So it's just the anniversary month, and it's wonderful. And we're still planning what should we do for the 8th. And if you have any good ideas, then please write them. Anything you've done on any anniversary ever that was memorable. For some friends of ours, they went to Alaska to a glacier. Now, I'm not saying, whatever it is. Some people that work here, some of our team, the foreman of construction. So I wanted to open up the Bible and talk a little tiny bit about